and welcome to this week's Ruby Shoes podcast, delivering the very best local entertainment news across East Anglia. Now, this week we chat with comedian Andy Parsons ahead of his visit to East Anglia. Then we talk to a cookbook author who has 2 book signings in Suffolk this week. Then finally we catch up with a Felixstowe fisherman who beat the chasers on ITV this month. And then finally we take a look at some of the best theatre shows around that you won't want to miss. Mock the Week regular, the lovely comedian Andy Parsons is coming to Suffolk and Norfolk as part of his brand new tour. And I caught up with him recently and I began by asking him some quick fire questions to kind of ease him into our interview.
Is that going to be easy though? Is that going to be easy, Steph, or is it going to be extra stressful?
For a man who's just done about 9 seasons of Mock the Week, I would say very easy indeed for you.
It's all done in the edit, Steph. It's not the magic that you see for that half an hour.
I don't believe that for a minute. First question for you, Andy. Where are you right now? What can you see around you?
So I am in what you could call a converted bedroom, or you can, if you want to, call it my home office.
Very nice. Okay. And do you have windows? Can you see out of there?
Yes, I can see a garden with a bit of grass that looks a little like we haven't had too much rain recently.
Oh, yes, I've got that too. And whereabouts is home? I mean, I don't mean your address. We're not going to send hordes of people there, but roughly the country.
That's right. Yeah, no, I'm not giving you a telephone number. I've read all the things. It's southwest London.
Lovely. Okay. Tell me something. This is a bit harder. No one knows about you. I know your friends and your family know this about Andy Parsons, but your fans might not necessarily.
Well, you don't know. I might have some secrets even from them.
Yeah, well.
I might have that, other life, There may be a different family and a different house and a different home office.
If there is, now's the time to tell me, okay?
No, I can't. I can't. It's not. What do people not know about you? Well, maybe they won't know that I danced the floral dance for 4 years consecutively.
Oh, my goodness. You can't just leave it there. Why?
Well, I can. You didn't have to tell 2 things that people didn't know.
No, to be fair, I didn't say that, did I? Okay, well, we could just leave it there if you want. Leave it hanging.
Yeah, well, also, I'll give you an extra fact about that, is that actually down in Helston, where it gets danced, they don't call it the floral dance, they call it the furry dance. But because Terry Wogan did a song called The Floral Dance, everybody now thinks it's called the floral dance, which really upsets the residents of Helston.
Oh, well, I apologise to the residents of Helston. Always good to know that.
Yes.
You're coming to both Suffolk and Norfolk with the tour. Have you got a favourite part of Suffolk and Norfolk? If you are travelling here, do you know people that live here potentially, or have you ever been?
I do have some relatives. I've got some relatives in the Ipswich area. So I do know, and obviously I've done the Norwich Playhouse many, many times, and Bury St Edmunds, the Apex, is just a super venue. So nice that I actually recorded my show there for the last tour. Bafflingly Optimistic. We actually recorded it in Bury St Edmunds.
Oh, wow.
Always wonderful. The slight smell of alcohol and sugar, which is always a very exciting place to turn up.
Definitely. Tell me something that's still on life's list. You've done so much already, but it could be professionally, but it could be personally. So like a place you might want to visit or...
No, definitely. I've got quite a few. I was doing quite well and then had kids. So it all slightly went pear-shaped in terms of travelling the world. So I've always dreamed of, I've not got a great head for heights, but I quite fancy getting to see some of the Himalayas. Maybe do have a quick look at Everest from afar. I don't want to clutter up too many mountains, but I quite fancy getting to Nepal, definitely. So that'll be close to the. And I've never swum with a whale shark. Both of those things are quite fancy. So yeah, those would be top 2, I reckon.
Good answers. And then finally on my quick fire, 3 things you can't live without. These are probably things you take on tour just to make it a bit more comfortable for you.
Well, often with the tour riders, they have, I need 17 cats and four dancers, and nobody can contact me. I've got to have lines of security. Mine is just to have some water and a kettle. So there's two things I can't do without. So maybe a mug as well. So there we go. Pretty exciting 3 things.
You're easily pleased, aren't you?
You say that, but it's amazing the number of venues that can't get you a kettle.
I can believe that, actually. Yeah, it's not been prac tested, or we can't do that.
They've got one kettle, but they've got rules that it can't come in that particular room.
Exactly. Now, tell us about the tour, because there seems to be several people who you dearly love to send off to Mars, I believe.
Yes, yes. Obviously, people will have their own favourites, but certainly, I guess in some ways, the greatest chance for peace on Earth is to have something so scary up in space that it actually brings all of Earth together. And my personal feeling is that Elon Musk can be that man.
Brilliant. Now, talking of holidays, once this tour concludes next year, what's going to be next for Andy Parsons? Is there more radio, more TV?
Well, yeah, the last tour seemed to go on forever. It used to be where you basically you do the tour sort of, you start it maybe in February, finish in October, and then you'd record the last show and it'd go out as a DVD at Christmas. Now with the bottom going out of the DVD market, you can tour for that much longer. So I did about 18 months last time, and then we recorded it, sort of streaming. It went out as a streaming special at the end of that. But obviously you can do that at any time. So who knows? The tour may finish next year, or they might decide to flog me further, and I might be going on for a bit more. So but once that finishes, the plan is I missed out during COVID when all these stand-ups were writing their children's books, because I was actually looking after children at the time. So I've still got those children's books. When everybody else has got them out of their system, I'm going to come in off the back of that, and I'll write my children's book.
Oh, well done. That's such a good plan. I love that. Andy Parsons, it's been a pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Steph.
And you can read the whole interview with Andy Parsons in October's issue of Suffolk Norfolk Live magazine, which is out at the end of this month, the end of September. And you can see Andy Parsons in person as part of his new tour, firstly in Norwich next month on Friday the 17th and Saturday the 18th of October at the Norwich Playhouse. Then he'll be in Suffolk the following month, that's Friday the 14th of November at the Apex Theatre in Bury St Edmunds. To get tickets, go to norwichtheatre.org or the apex.co.uk to find out more. Cathy Gaynor is the author of 2 fabulous cookbooks, which she's produced to raise money for Suffolk charities. I spoke to her earlier about recipes from Le Rosé, her first book, and also recipes from a London kitchen, her most recent cookbook. So now on the Ruby Shoes podcast, I'm talking to a lovely author. Her name is Cathy Gaynor, and she is the author of not just 1, but 2 gorgeous cookbooks. And they're very special. We're going to talk about the books, but they're special because not only are they beautiful cookbooks with fantastic recipes in them and very beautifully illustrated, which we'll talk about, but they're raising money for Suffolk charities. So let me introduce you, first of all, to the author. That's Cathy Gaynor. Welcome to the Ruby Shoes podcast.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, Cathy. Now, let's talk about the books first of all, because you've got 2. Tell me about the first one and how that came about.
Well, the first one came about because my nephew Justin, who is was a trustee of the charity I was running, and who is also a supremely greedy man, had been going on asking me for years and years and years to write down the recipes that I cooked in the summer in our house in southwest France. This was a house my husband had bought when he was 20 and was always been full of family and friends. And because it's in the middle of nowhere, when people come and stay, they don't come and stay for a night, they come and stay for 5 nights. So the recipes have to be extremely easy and quick, and you have to be able to do it a great deal in advance, because otherwise you're in the kitchen the whole time and you're not seeing your guests. So this is what Justin wanted me to write down. And I thought this was rather a nuisance. And I also, as he's a good cook, didn't really believe he wanted the recipes. So I paid no attention until at one trustees meeting, he suddenly said, well, if you were to do it in aid of the charity, then you can't really say no. And he was right. I couldn't say no. And this was a charity I was running to help both the old and the young, and attempting to get them to work together for obviously their mutual benefit. And so I wrote the recipes. That was the easy bit, actually, because I've got notebooks full of recipes. And then my very capable daughter-in-law, who's a brilliant cook, said to me, well, you've got to have photographs. And that rather stymied us, because we thought, we thought perhaps a line drawing or two that a friend could do. But she was insistent, and actually she was right. So we thought, we'll just start at the top, ring up a photographer who's at the top of his game and see what he'd charge. And this lovely man who we used said, well, it'll be about £35,000. Well, we were a tiny charity, and we didn't have £35,000. We were hoping to raise £35,000. And then he rang back a little bit later and said, I'll do it free. And which was an act of enormous kindness and meant that we could produce a book that really looked pretty. And I think actually probably sold on the photographs more than anything else.
So the book is itself, as you said, the pictures sell it because it's so beautiful. This is the first one, which is Recipes from Le Rusé, which is the name of your house in France. And that's where it also ties into, isn't it? Yes.
Exactly. And not being able to think of a clever name, we just thought, well, let's make it what the working title was that. And we never got past thinking of another name.
But then what's nice is you've got the likes of Rick Stein and Alain Roux and Thomasina Myers all crediting on the back of the book to say what a lovely book it is.
Well, weren't they kind? They were amazing. And
I think they're quite truthful as well. I think if they didn't like the book or they didn't like your recipes, Kathy, they'd have said, no, we're not going to quote. But the fact they have, that's amazing. So you've had one book and the profit from it goes towards to help Suffolk charities. But then you did it all again, didn't you, with your second book?
Yes, I did, with great trepidation. And this is a book about what I feed people on when we're at home having people to supper in London. So it's got a completely different concept, although being very pushed for time, which I always seem to be. The recipes are, again, extremely quick, and most of it can be done ahead. I mean, what I was trying to do, or I'm always trying to do, is to make things look rather more impressive than they actually are. It's a bit smoke and mirrors. So there's nothing in either book that takes any length of time, even if the instructions are occasionally a bit long-winded. That's because I'm bad at explaining. It's not because the recipe is difficult. The second book came about because it was very difficult leaving projects. When we closed the charity that the original one had been in aid of, it was very difficult to leave some of the projects. And there was one particular one, which was Access in Lowestoft, which I wanted to give some more money to. And so basically I wrote it to give them a substantial grant, which we succeeded in doing. When you're running a charity, it's very easy to get sponsorship money, which I'd managed to do with the first book. With the second book, without a charity behind me, there was no sponsorship money. So it was quite a financial gamble because they're expensive things to...
You can tell that just by the quality of the book and the book cover, and we've already said how lovely the photography is inside. Just the weight of the pages, everything is just the proper coffee table cookbook, but it's also very, very useful. People like me, I want to make impressive dishes, but I don't really have much time, so that's why I love it so much. It is absolutely gorgeous, and there's a lovely bookmark inside, and it says "Sold in aid of charities in Suffolk, benefiting disadvantaged young and the elderly." So tell us a bit more about that, and tell us how much you've raised so far from the book sales.
Well, we've got to the extraordinary sum of £115,000 between the two books. The awful thing is, although £115,000 sounds an awful lot of money, it doesn't go a long way. That's the trouble.
It's still a huge amount of money, and well done for raising so much and putting in so much hard work yourself and giving away your lovely secret recipes as well. Now, we can catch up with you this week here in Suffolk. You're going to be in Southwold and also in Woodbridge. So Southwold we need tickets for, don't we? Because Southwold is a special event. There's going to be bubbles, there's going to be canapes, and that's all happening from 6 o'clock, between 6 and 8 at the Southwold bookshop. Am I right?
Yeah, on Thursday, yeah. Yes.
Wonderful. And then if we can't make it there, and we can go on to Eventbrite and get tickets, if we can't make it there, you'll be in Woodbridge on Friday between 2 and 4. And that's just a kind of a walk-in event. We can just walk in and say hi and discuss recipes and hopefully come away with a couple of your lovely books as well.
Yes, that's exactly right. And if you want, you could, I suppose, think ahead and think about Christmas. I suppose I'm not that organised, but some people are.
Oh, definitely, because these books would make wonderful Christmas presents, or any presents, to be fair.
They're only £16.99, so they're not a huge outlay, which is helpful.
Most people will think, at least £20 per present, and you've got a beautiful book which looks like you spent an awful lot more money than that on it. And it's useful as well, because if you buy someone this book, they're going to want to cook the recipes and invite you back, and then you get to eat. So it's a win-win, basically, Kathy.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for talking to us for the Ruby Shoes podcast, and I hope both book signings, the one in Southwold on Thursday and the one in Woodbridge on Friday, go particularly well for you, and you sell lots more books and raise lots more money for Suffolk charities.
Thank you. And thank you very much for inviting me.
And finally, on the Ruby Shoes podcast, a fisherman from Felixstowe has appeared on ITV's Beat the Chasers with Bradley Walsh and has taken on the mighty team of chasers single-handedly. Clive Bamberger talked to the Ruby Shoes podcast about the whole experience. So usually on the Ruby Shoes podcast, we talk to performers from all different walks of life. And I've got a performer here who is quite different, really, a different kind of performer, something that would absolutely terrify me, A, because I have no knowledge of general knowledge at all, but also because it involves TV and a lot of stress. Talking today to Felixstowe resident, Clive has just recently been on Beat the Chasers on ITV. So welcome, Clive, first of all, to the Ruby Shoes podcast.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Now, my first question really is, why? Why would you put yourself up to? Because we're not just talking the chase, which is terrifying itself. This is Beat the Chasers. This is the putting yourself, you've got no teammates around you to support you, putting yourself on television in front of the chasers who are basically pretty clever. And it's kind of like, 5 against 1 almost, isn't it? Why would you want to do that, first of all?
I think the challenge of being on television and putting on a good show is something that I embrace. It's my 5th occasion of being on the TV, and I was just lucky enough to be chosen from 17,500 applicants, and they only needed 20 people, and it makes you feel good to be singled out as being somebody they think would be good as a television a draw,
they want someone who's entertaining, don't they? It's not just about your knowledge. To
sell the programme, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they need you to perform, basically, on TV.
Which I did, I believe.
Which you did. So, before we go further into this, tell me about the other things that you've appeared on. What else have we seen you on?
I started going on TV shows in 92, and I was on with the compere Shane Ritchie before he was Alfie Moon, and that was something called Win, Lose or Draw. Later on in the 90s, I went on Wipeout with Bob Monkhouse, and that was a lot of fun, and I spent about 40 minutes talking to Bob. That was a joy.
I'm so jealous. I always loved Bob Monkhouse.
He was fantastic, and we cracked jokes together in wardrobe. That was just a lovely, lovely moment. Then I was on one called Dog Eat Dog that was hosted by Ulrika Johnson. And then I was on The Weakest Link with the terrifying
Anne Robinson.
Oh,
my goodness. Was she kind to you or was she mean?
She tried to be mean, but you have to be very good to get one over on me. And she, after the show, because I won the show, came over to me, gave me a hug and said, "I really enjoyed that, Clive. You must apply for more shows." And that's something I did. I applied and I got accepted for The Chase about 7 years ago, but they changed the data protection system, and everything or everybody had already been accepted for TV shows was actually binned. So I was back to square one. So I reapplied when I saw Beat the Chasers. And it was only up for, I think, about 3 days. And like I say, they had 17,500 applicants and they gave me the call.
Oh, wow. So tell me, when you get there, you're in the audience, and what does it feel like when they call your name, when they say, and, you know, come on down, Clive from Felixstowe?
They took me into the studio before the audience turned up to show me where I was going to be sitting and to ask me to get out of my seat and down there's a lit staircase that takes you down to the stage, and they just make sure that you know, because of the darkness of the place, that you're not going to fall onto somebody and hurt somebody. So
or hurt yourself, I
or
imagine.
hurt yourself.
So you're sitting in your seat in the audience on the actual thing, and they call your name, and then, because I've watched the episode, and then they literally flash your name, Clive, around the audience.
Yeah,
that music plays. To me, that would be terrifying. Were your knees not knocking as you walk down towards Bradley?
No, it's a strange thing, because there was five or six of us who were going to be the contestants on that evening. And I was sitting there with my bottle of water thinking, right, what I'll do is I'll just watch the first one be called out, because there's six of us. We'll watch the first one call out, and I'll just gauge how to present myself as I walked down the stairs and walked onto the stage. As it happened, I was the first person to be called up, and therefore I didn't have the chance to settle in. So basically, it's sit down, lights on, OK, Clive, you're on.
I mean, that to me would be terrifying. So you walk down, you meet Bradley Walsh, he's there, and you have a chat with him. And now that has literally gone all around the internet, just your intro. That was hilarious. ITV have made a reel out of that, haven't they?
They have. And I'm glad about that, because, as I said at the beginning, it's being a part of the circus of the show, to be one of the acts and to actually be noticed for being the most interesting of that show. That's special, and that's why I actually went.
And the most entertaining as well.
It is the entertaining side of it. And of course, I didn't go on there. The money was a great bonus, but the fact that I'd been chosen from those many thousands of people, that's the real jewel.
Oh, definitely. But also the fact you've got the courage to, enter something like that at all. I wouldn't. So they start asking you the questions. Talk to me about that, because obviously you've no idea what's going to come up to start with. Did you get a chance to sort of relax into the first question? How did it happen?
Well, no. You get the first question, which I got correct. Luckily, it was an easy question, and it's then you've got 30 seconds, a little bit of probably maintenance on your clothing or your microphone or this type of thing, and then it's all systems go. And so they say, you have got your 1 minute, and the chasers have got their certain amount of seconds, and it's worth watching just to see how the whole thing evolves. Yes, but
and the nice thing is we can still watch it, because you can catch it up on ITVX.
It's on ITVX, yes.
And it's series 7.
It's episode 2 or 3, isn't it? I think it's 2. 3.
I can check. I think 3.
Okay, 3.
Yeah. But we'll check that, and then I can let our listeners know. But series 7 anyway. We think it's episode 2 or 3, but we'll figure that out. So talk us through it. You get your first question right.
Yes. And then they say, right, we are going to give you 38 seconds or 36 seconds for that £1,000, because I messed up on the second question, which you heard the question and you also got incorrect.
Yeah, because I've since watched it, and I thought, oh, that's easy. I know what the answer to that is. And I said the same answer as you, and we both got it wrong. So.
And I must admit, I did go into that a bit fast. I did think, oh, that's an easy question. I'll just answer it quickly. And really, if I'd just given it a little bit more thought, there was time enough to give the more correct answer. But I got it wrong. So.
But it didn't matter, did it? Because then you had... Tell me how many seconds you had and how many chasers.
It was at the end game. Yeah. Well, okay. I was offered 20,000. I was offered 30,000, and I was offered 50,000, and the time differences were 38.
This is seconds.
38 seconds.
It's like no time at all.
40 seconds and 42 seconds. And so therefore, one of the
And each time they give you more time, they give you more chasers.
Every time they put on, yes, if they give you 40 seconds, you're up against 4 chasers. And if it's 42 seconds, you're up against the best pub team in the world.
Exactly.
So I took my choice and...
which was?
You want me to tell?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, you don't want people to watch it?
Oh, that's a very good point, actually.
Let's just say I am not going to tell you.
Okay, that's fair enough.
So I took the choice that was an extremely good offer, and so therefore I took it. And I wanted to do well. I didn't want to go home with just bus fare.
So you want people to watch this, so you're not going to tell us the outcome?
I don't think so. I had to keep it silent from...
I was going to say how long, because they film these things in advance. So how long did you know that you'd taken part, should we say, to when you were actually able to let people know?
Well, I was filmed in late June, and I didn't let anybody know till the broadcast date, which was last Sunday.
Yeah, so September the
14th.
14th, thank you.
Yeah, it's September the 14th.
That is a long time to keep a secret.
So I sat with my wife and my sister-in-law and her friend, and they were so nervous. My daughters were watching, various friends and customers at the shop. And, I didn't let anybody know because, one, I wanted it to be a surprise. For me, it's a bit like saying, what do you want for Christmas? Here's your present. You can open it in October. It doesn't work because you don't have anything to open at Christmas Day.
No, you want to build the tension.
You want to build the tension up.
But also, in all seriousness, you'd signed an NDA, so you couldn't tell anyone because I imagine they would have, taken away your prize.
It would have flagged up. Yes, yeah. If you won, they would take away your winnings. If you lost, they could pull you from the programme.
So how do you feel now? Do you feel inspired to do more TV work?
It's still sinking in. The amount of people who I know in the street who are just literally calling out. Like yesterday, somebody called out, "All right, winner," and it's so nice to be known as somebody who did actually succeed in beating the hardest pub team in the world.
Yeah. Well done you.
Thank you very much.
I think you've done extremely well, and thank you for sharing the experience with us here on the Ruby Shoes podcast.
Okay, that's fine. And thank you. And hopefully, if I have applied for 3 other shows on the back of this one, maybe I'll be doing another interview with you.
I hope so. And it was actually Series 7, Episode 3. If you just Google ITVX Beat the Chasers, you can watch how Clive Bamberger took on those mighty chasers.
What's on across Suffolk with Stephanie McIntyre. Sponsored by Ruby Shoes Podcast, your weekly entertainment news podcast. Available from your smart speaker, Apple, Spotify, or you just follow Ruby Shoes Podcast on Facebook and click on the weekly podcast link to listen.
There's a host of great shows on offer across Suffolk's magnificent theatres, and here's just a selection to tempt you. Monday the 29th of September at the Apex Theatre in Bury St Edmunds, Janet Street Porter is off the leash. From a Bolshy child with a Welsh-speaking budgie to national theatre, Janet Street Porter's life and language has always been colourful. As a broadcaster, television executive and newspaper editor, she was at the forefront of some of Britain's most enduring cultural moments. Now she finds herself with a senior rail card and 4 ex-husbands. The nation's favourite, rather fed-up pensioner brings comedy, tragedy and gossip in equal measure. A rant against growing old gracefully. Check her out for yourself. Go to theapex.co.uk. Wednesday the 1st of October at the Leiston Film Theatre, just announced, celebrated psychic medium Ryan Gooding will be returning to Leiston Film Theatre for one night only on Wednesday the 1st of October at 7:30pm. Ryan has quickly become one of the most talked about psychic mediums in the UK, completing his first UK tour and being shortlisted in the top 5 best loved psychic mediums in the UK. For more details, go to leistonfilmtheatre.co.uk. The New Wolsey Theatre and Eastern Angles presents Teachers until Thursday the 2nd of October, a high-energy comedy with a punchy political message about the state of our country's education system. Gail, Hobby and Salty are presenting their hilarious end-of-term play, one that tells the tale of their new drama teacher's progress at their chaotic school. After 2 terms of rowdy students, downtrodden colleagues and a system on the brink, will this idealistic teacher be swayed by the calm waters of a local private school? With just 3 actors taking on over 20 different roles with only the props of a classroom to hand, Teachers is a tour de force of live theatre and storytelling. For your tickets, go to wolseytheatre.co.uk. And finally, Saturday the 4th of October, The Sound of Springsteen. Celebrate 40 years since the iconic Born in the USA album was first released with the world-class theatre production The Sound of Springsteen. Experience the pure rock and roll euphoria of Bruce Springsteen at this outstanding show brings his iconic sound to life, taking you on a musical journey through the incredible catalogue from Greetings from Ashbury Park to 2020's Ghosts via the legendary hits Born in the USA and Born to Run. From high-octane vocals to the phenomenal stage production, every detail is meticulously crafted to transport you back to the golden age of rock and roll. Find out more, go to spapavilion.uk. This week's What's Ons were brought to you in association with Ruby Shoes Podcast, delivering your local theatre and entertainment news.